Have you ever noticed that the person you're talking to takes a small step back? Not much, just half a step, just a little. But you notice it. You always do, even when they say nothing at all. Maybe it's your grandchild sitting close to hear your fairy tale, suddenly covering her nose and moving away without a word. Or your daughter, usually so gentle and kind, quietly pushing the plate of mince toward you at dinner. Or your spouse, who once loved being close, but now turns away when you lean in for a goodnight kiss, quietly and painfully. You brush your teeth, you gargle every night, the kind that stings. You eat well, avoid sugar, drink your water, and you haven't smoked in years. So why does it still feel like people are keeping a distance? They don't say anything, but you feel it. In their eyes, in the silence, in the space they leave between you. My name is Martha Hill. I'm a dentist who spent the last 20 years working with older adults, and I've met thousands of people just like you. People who do everything right, but still wonder why their breath doesn't feel fresh, why their confidence has slowly faded, why intimacy now feels just a little further away than it used to. I want to tell you something, and I want to say it clearly. This isn't your fault. It's not about being dirty. It's not about getting old. It's not even about effort. It's simply this. Most people, no matter how careful they are, aren't cleaning the right place. And that place? It's right there in your mouth, not your teeth, not your gums, but your tongue. It's the most overlooked spot in oral care, especially as we age. But if you take just 2 minutes a night starting today, everything can change. Not only your breath, but your confidence, your comfort, the way you feel when your grandkids lean in close, maybe even your heart health. Yes, really. I'll explain why. But first, let's go back for a moment to what's really happening inside your mouth after 60 and why what used to work just isn't enough anymore. After age 60, a lot of things start to change in your body, and some of the most subtle changes happen right in your mouth. The problem is, we often don't notice until someone turns their head or someone gently hands us a mint after a meal. I've seen patients who say they brush their teeth regularly, floss every night, and never forget to rinse, yet their breath still smells. It's embarrassing, even hurtful, but it's not their hygiene that's to blame. It's the silent biological changes that come with aging. One of the biggest changes is a decrease in saliva production. In young people, saliva acts as an automatic washing system, constantly producing saliva to clean the mouth, neutralize acids, and wash away bacteria and food particles. But after age 60, this process slows down. According to a study published in the Journal of Dental Research, older adults can produce 40% less saliva than they did in middle age. And when our mouths dry out, what should be washed away stays there. Bacteria, food debris, dead skin cells. It all accumulates, especially in a place we rarely pay attention to, the tongue, which I'll talk more about later. Additionally, the mouth's ability to self-cleanse also declines over time. This is not only due to reduced saliva, but also to changes in soft tissue structure, especially on the tongue. The papillae, which are responsible for sensing taste, become longer and thicker over time, creating a rougher surface that is more likely to trap organic matter. A 2020 study from the Oral Diseases Journal found that people over 65 had twice the density of biofilm on their tongues than people under 40, especially at the back of the tongue, where there is less contact with the toothbrush. I know, that might make you nervous, but think of it this way. It's not your fault. It's biology. It's your body's natural process. And once you understand it, you can adapt to it and even master it. Imagine you're washing the dishes after dinner. Every bowl, plate, and spoon is clean, but you forget to change the sponge. You keep using the same sponge over and over again for days. What's the first thing that starts to smell? Not the bowl, the sponge. And then that smell starts to cling to the things you just washed. Your mouth is the same way. You can brush your teeth until they are sparkling clean, but if your scrubber, your tongue, is still dirty, your breath won't be as fresh. I'm not sharing this to make you feel bad. On the contrary, I want you to feel empowered, because you don't have to suffer through this. And you absolutely don't have to live with feelings of shyness, aloofness, or insecurity. Just understand the habits that worked when you were 30 or 40 are no longer enough. And that's why the next step is so important. We're going to talk about the most neglected part of the mouth, but the one that causes up to 80% of bad breath cases. That's the tongue. Ready? Come with me. And you won't look at your toothbrush the same way again. When you think of oral hygiene, the first thing that comes to mind is probably your teeth. Maybe your toothbrush, toothpaste, floss. Maybe mouthwash that stings so much it makes you squint at night. But there's one part of your mouth that's often neglected, and unfortunately, it's home to the most bacteria, your tongue. Have you ever stood in front of a mirror, stuck out your tongue, and looked closely? If you see a thin white or yellow coating on the surface, especially at the back of your tongue, congratulations, you've just discovered a bacterial membrane, also known as a biofilm. Your tongue isn't a smooth, flat surface. It's more like a carpet, not the plush kind, but an old, shaggy kind with dirt clinging to every strand. The surface of your tongue is covered with thousands of tiny papillae, which are responsible for helping you taste. But these papillae are also a perfect home for bacteria, food particles, dead cells, and fungi to live and thrive. Did you know? A study published in the Journal of Clinical Periodontology found that up to 80% of chronic bad breath cases are directly linked to bacterial buildup on the tongue. Not the teeth or gums, as many people think, but that doesn't stop there. There are more than 700 different types of bacteria identified in our mouths, and the majority are concentrated on the back of the tongue, a warm, moist area that's hard to reach when cleaning. According to the National Institutes of Health, there are bacteria on the tongue that produce volatile sulfur compounds, VSCs, which can cause a strong, rotten egg, metallic or musty odor that you may notice most in the morning. And if you think brushing your teeth is enough to clean your tongue, well, it's not. Brushing bristles often only skim the surface and can't break down the biofilm that's built up in the deep grooves of your tongue. That's why, despite your pearly whites, you can still smell bad. Or worse, let others know before you even notice. I know bad breath is a sensitive subject, but you're not alone. If you've ever looked in the mirror and wondered, does my tongue always look that white? You're not alone. And if you've ever had a bad taste in your mouth, despite good hygiene, you might be missing the most important part. I want to ask you something. Do you clean your tongue every day? Be honest. If so, leave a yes comment below the video. If you don't, or you just learned about it today, type trying this tonight, so I know you're starting this journey with me. You can also like if you found this helpful, and please share the video with someone you care about, because sometimes just one small habit can make a big difference. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on practical, actionable health tips, just for you over 60. Back to the story of the tongue, here's an interesting fact that few people know. Scientists at the University of Michigan once discovered that after just 24 hours of not cleaning, the biofilm on the tongue can completely reestablish itself, meaning that even if you rinsed your mouth yesterday morning, today it's back as if it had never been gone. Is that scary? Not really, because it's totally within your control, and you don't need expensive products or complicated routines. Just one simple action every night. I'll walk you through it step by step in the next section. But first, remember this. If you don't clean your tongue, you're letting the dirtiest part of your mouth live happily ever after, and you deserve better than that. Here we go. To Andrew, a 72-year-old man, clean and meticulous, but also surprised to discover that his breath didn't come from his teeth, but from a place no one had taught him to clean all his life. Now you know why your tongue is the most germ-ridden part of your mouth, and why even if your teeth are white and your gums are healthy, your breath can still smell bad. But this isn't just dry knowledge. This is something I've seen happen over and over again to real people. People who are careful, meticulous, and self-respecting. And one of the people I miss the most is Andrew. Andrew is a 72-year-old man living in a quiet town in Oregon. A former aerospace engineer, he is known for being orderly and disciplined. His shoe cabinet is neatly arranged. His wall clock is never off by more than a second. And of course, brushing his teeth twice a day is as natural to him as tying his shoes. It is habit, discipline, self-respect. Then one weekend night, the family gathered for dinner. Everything seemed normal until his daughter, Sarah, 38, gentle and thoughtful, gently pushed a plate of mince toward him. Nothing. He smiled, took one. A moment later, she gently pushed the plate again, this time closer, as a gentle reminder. Andrew said nothing, but inside he was quiet. Not because of the candy, but because of Sarah's eyes. It wasn't reproachful, nor was it indifferent, but it was enough to make him feel something was wrong. Have you ever experienced something similar? A loved one who never said anything hurt you, but you felt it clearly, just from a small gesture. A look? The next day, Andrew came to see me, not for a toothache, but for an answer to a very real doubt. Am I making other people uncomfortable without even knowing it? We checked. His teeth were clean. His gums were fine. But when I asked him to stick out his tongue, we both clearly saw a thick yellowish white coating at the end, That was biofilm, a film of bacteria, food debris, dead cells, something the toothbrush couldn't reach. When I explained gently to him, he just nodded and smiled, a little confused. I have kept the habit of brushing my teeth for 60 years, and I missed the most important thing. There was no anger, no shame, just a truth under the light, and a man strong enough to listen. Andrew started cleaning his tongue every night. It only took 2 minutes. After a week, he called back. I don't know if my breath is any better, but my daughter is sitting closer. And when I kiss my granddaughter goodnight, she hugs me tight. I don't think it's just the mint. I think it's the distance between relatives that's slowly narrowing, thanks to a little habit we were never taught. Have you ever had a moment like Andrew's? Did someone you love send you a silent message? If so, share it in the comments. And if Andrew's story resonates with you, please like this video to let us know you're listening. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video with a loved one. It might just be the most thoughtful gift you give them this week. Andrew's story is no exception. It's a mirror, and it can also be a doorway for you to see yourself and step out of your isolation with a small act starting tonight. Andrew made the change with just one small habit, and the effect he got was more than fresher breath or a closer hug from his granddaughter. It was a very real, very deep feeling that he was taking charge of his health, not just for today, but for the years ahead. Because the truth is, this problem goes beyond breathing. It's not as simple as someone taking a half step back when you talk. It can go further, deeper, and affect your entire body if you ignore it for too long. We used to think of the mouth as a separate area, but modern medicine has proven that the mouth is the gateway to the whole body. And when bacteria stay there for too long, they don't stay quiet. They can travel along the gums, into the bloodstream, and cause unwanted consequences. Remember that biofilm I mentioned earlier? It's not just a layer of plaque that smells. According to the Journal of Oral Microbiology, the biofilm on your tongue and gums contains bacteria like Porphyromonas gingivalis, a major culprit in chronic gingivitis. And when this bacteria enters your bloodstream, it doesn't just stay in your mouth. Several studies, including a major one from the Harvard School of Dental Medicine, have shown a surprising link between poor oral hygiene and cardiovascular disease. When bacteria from the mouth enter the bloodstream, they can cause inflammation in the walls of blood vessels, which increases the risk of endocarditis, an infection of the inner lining of the heart. Not only that, a report in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society also found that older adults with high oral bacteria, especially from poorly cleaned biofilm, had a 34% higher rate of memory loss and dementia than those with good oral hygiene habits. I know this may sound a little scary, but I want you to take a deep breath and hear me out. You don't need to be afraid. You just need to understand. This isn't a warning to scare you. It's a warning to let you know you have control. And the best part? This control requires no doctor, no pills, no costs, just 2 minutes every night. That's right, just 2 minutes to clean up the part you've been missing and prevent risks that affect not only your breath, but your heart and your memory. And if you've ever thought maybe bad breath is just a small thing, remember, sometimes small things are where the trouble starts, but they can also be where change begins if you act early. Now I'm going to tell you another story, a lighter one, but very true, about an old man named John and the classic quote from his granddaughter that made the whole family laugh out loud and also changed him forever. If you've made it this far with me, congratulations, because now you have a clear understanding of why the tongue is something we need to pay more attention to, not just for our breath, but for our overall health. And here's the part I'm most looking forward to sharing with you, the simple, easy to do, proper way to clean your tongue every night. Whether you're 60, 70, or 80, whether you live alone or with family. First, you need a small but powerful tool, a tongue scraper. You can find one at any drugstore like Walgreens, CVS, or buy it online. The price? Just about $3 to $5. A small investment, but the results you'll see every day. If you don't have a scraper handy tonight, don't worry. A soft bristled toothbrush can work just as well. But remember, it's not designed for the surface of your tongue, so it's only a short-term solution. When possible, use the right tool for best results. So how do you get started? Stand in front of a mirror. Make sure the lighting is adequate. Then stick your tongue out gently, but not too hard to avoid pain or nausea. Take a tongue scraper and place the tip of it gently near the base of your tongue, where the white coating you usually see is. Pull it gently toward the tip of your tongue, applying moderate pressure. No need to be hard, just steady. Repeat about 3 to 4 times, remembering to rinse the scraper after each use under running water. If you have a strong gag reflex, don't be discouraged. Start in the middle of your tongue. Get used to it, and by the 3rd day, you'll find that you can naturally go deeper. Many of my patients who couldn't stick their tongues out for more than 3 seconds can now scrape them clean every morning without any trouble. And don't forget something simple but equally important. Drink a small glass of water before bed. When we sleep, our mouths tend to dry out. And as you know, a dry mouth is a buffet for bacteria. Water helps keep the mucous membranes moist, reducing the buildup of bacteria throughout the night. Some people like to gargle with warm salt water or try oil pulling with coconut oil. If you already have that habit, great. But if you're just starting out, just cleaning your tongue and drinking water before bed is great. What do you think? Is it simple? If you've tried tongue cleaning, let me know in the comments. If you haven't, and you're ready to give it a try tonight, type "I'm trying this tonight" into the chat or comment. That's it. It's easy, but it could be the first step to changing both your breath and your health. If you found this tutorial helpful, give it a like to let me know you're watching. And if you know someone who's secretly worried about their breathing, a loved one, a spouse, or a fellow retiree, share this video with them. Sometimes the most subtle reminders come from people who know and care. And don't forget to click the subscribe button so you don't miss out on small but valuable tips about old age health. Things that doctors may not tell you, but help you live more comfortably every day. Now let me tell you a special story. A 74-year-old woman, very neat, used branded mouthwash every day, but was always afraid to talk closely with others until she tried what you are about to do tonight. Linda is a 74-year-old woman who has been an elementary school teacher for more than 3 decades. You can picture her, pastel sweaters, close-cropped silver hair, and a smile as warm as the morning sun. Linda is meticulous, from the way she folds her tablecloth to the type of mouthwash she chooses. Always brand name, always extra fresh. Yet there was one thing Linda could not shake, the awkwardness of having to talk closely with others. Even though she did everything by the book, she often felt the need to keep her distance, out of a quiet fear that her breath would make others uncomfortable. Even though no one says anything, I feel it, she told me the first time we met. I see people tilt their heads. I see myself covering my mouth when I laugh without realizing it. I checked. Teeth were clean, gums were fine, but the tongue, as usual, was a neglected area. I suggested she try scraping her tongue every morning and night for just 2 minutes for 10 days. She nodded, not saying much. Like a diligent student, no need to ask again, just quietly doing homework. On the day of her follow-up visit, Linda walked in with brighter eyes. The first thing she said wasn't about her breathing. Instead, she said, "Doctor, you know, I had coffee this morning and I actually tasted the coffee for the first time in years." Have you ever had that feeling? Something familiar, like the smell of your morning coffee, suddenly comes alive again, all because of a small change you never thought of. Linda added, half jokingly, "I thought my taste buds were getting stale as I got older. Turns out I wasn't dusting the right places." If you've ever secretly doubted yourself or thought that shyness was just a passing fancy, think again. Maybe, like Linda, you don't need much, just a small tool and 2 minutes a day to clean up a place you've forgotten. Have you ever re-experienced an old flavor in a new way? Share it with me in the comments. And if Linda's story made you smile or recognize yourself, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. Because maybe that person is also looking forward to the day they can taste happiness again, starting with their own breath. But not everyone accepted the change as quietly as Linda. Some people turned it into a story that made the whole clinic laugh. Let me tell you about Mr. Joe and the surprising revelation he had the first time he scraped his tongue. Joe is 71, a retired plumber from Michigan. Big hands, big laugh, bigger heart. The kind of man who always smells like motor oil and fresh cut grass. He's the first to help a neighbor fix a leak and the last to admit when something's bothering him. The day he came into my clinic, he leaned over and said, "Doc, I don't know what's going on, but my grandkids keep handing me gum like it's Halloween." He chuckled, but there was a flicker of embarrassment in his eyes. That quiet kind that men like Joe don't like to talk about. After a quick exam, I gave him a tongue scraper and explained what to do. He stared at it like it was a tiny alien. "This thing?" he asked. "Yes," I said, "trust me." Each and 1 week later, Joe walked back in with a grin that stretched ear to ear. He sat down and said, "Doc, I gotta tell you, I thought that white stuff I scraped off was leftover toothpaste. Turns out it was the smell of age. Then he leaned in like he was sharing a secret. My wife. She thought I changed cologne, said I smelled fresh and romantic. He laughed, then added, I didn't have the heart to tell her. I just nodded. But between you and me, Doc, I just cleaned my tongue. Have you ever tried something small that made a big difference? A little habit that changed how others reacted to you? Or how you felt about yourself? If you've ever had a Joe moment, share it in the comments. And if you haven't, maybe tonight's the night to start. Give this video a thumbs up if it made you smile. Subscribe for more practical health tips that don't require big budgets, just small shifts. And share this story with someone who needs a little laugh and a little fresh breath. Because sometimes the difference between being avoided and being embraced is just 2 minutes and a $4 tool. You've heard the stories. You know the why. You know what to do. Now I want to invite you to take that first small step, the way so many of you have, and never want to go back. It's not a big challenge. No 30-day detox, no expensive products. It's not complicated. Just 2 minutes every night for 7 days. I call it the breath and intimacy challenge. Every night before bed, stand in front of a mirror, stick your tongue out, clean it, then drink a small glass of water. That's all you need to do. No other changes, no journaling, no tracking apps, just you in the mirror and 2 minutes to yourself. And here's my sincere invitation. If after 7 days you don't feel a difference, whether it's better breath, more confidence, or simply a clearer taste in your coffee, then come back to this video and let me know in the comments. I'll buy you a tongue scraper. No kidding, I mean it, because I believe in this habit that much. You don't have to do it alone. Grab your partner or send this video to someone you care about and start breathing week together. If you're up for it, leave a comment with 2 words, I'm in. And if you're smiling and thinking, why not? Hit like now. Subscribe so I can keep you posted with tips that are as easy to apply as this tongue scraping habit itself. Because sometimes big changes in life don't come from a loud decision, but from a small action, repeated regularly with perseverance and a little love for yourself. So we've been on a seemingly small journey together, revolving around the tongue. But if you pay attention, today's story isn't just about breathing. It's about something deeper, intimacy, confidence, and an inner health that you can take charge of. Together, we discovered a simple but important truth, that after 60, your body changes, and old habits may not be enough, that your tongue is home to hundreds of bacteria, a place most of us never really clean properly. That with just 2 minutes a night, you can feel the difference, not just in your breath, but in the way others approach you and the way you feel about yourself. We heard real stories from Linda, Andrew, Joe, people who started their journey with just one small action and then felt a very real change. The taste of coffee returned, hugs became closer, smiles were no longer avoided, and now it's your turn. No one is asking you to be perfect, especially after 60. You don't need to chase the latest gadget or change your entire life. You just need to be consistent with one small thing, treating yourself every night with kindness and love, because you can't control how you age, but you can control how you choose to live. And sometimes starting over doesn't have to be anything big. Just standing in front of the mirror, sticking your tongue out and cleaning it as a way to say to yourself, I deserve to be healthy, to smell good, and to be held closer. If this video made you smile, made you nod your head, or made you want to try something new starting tonight, give it a like, so I know you're listening. Share it with a friend, a loved one, or someone who needs a gentle reminder. Subscribe, turn on the bell, and leave a comment if you've tried, or will try, this little habit. I'd love to hear your story, because health after 60 is not in the noisy things, but in the very small, very quiet, and very real things, just like yourself. See you in the next video, where we'll continue our casual yet meaningful conversations.